Hi, I'm Tinny from minibulldesign, and today I'm going to talk about pots and pans. They're a fairly important part of your backpack, and they're kind of a double-edged sword, but, well, this is probably a third of my pots and pans. I've got pots and pans I've given away. I've got boxes of them. Every now and then I find one inside of a backpack or somewhere on the ranch here somewhere that I just left and forgot about. I do a lot of testing, a lot of pots and pans, and well, I thought I'd give you my 2 cents worth on how I've evolved over the years on what I carried for a pot. I think when I first started out, the very first pot I had, if I remember correctly, was this one right here. This is an MSR 0.85 liter titanium kettle. Fairly expensive, but it's a very nice item. It's got a good tight lid. It's vented. It's got a nifty little handle that has got a slot in it so it'll stay up so you can get a hold of it or fold over, fold down. It's got a little lip in the front to pour with so you can actually leave the lid on and drain stuff. It's almost the perfect size for one person to cook a meal in and have room enough to actually stir things and have a wide enough base so you can use an alcohol stove and have a wide enough base so the flame doesn't go up by it. Bigger is better when it comes to alcohol stove and stove bases. In fact, this is a 1.85 liter titanium pot by Snow Peak. This I think was my second pot because Sue and I were backpacking together and we needed more room for a meal for 2 people. And believe me, we've eaten some pretty good meals out of this pot. This pot has got a lot of history behind it. We've eaten a lot of meals out of it, and it's been a nice pot. Probably my favorite pot when I'm taking 2 people. Didn't come with a lid, came with like a frying pan thing, when you know how that works. Didn't work that good for a lid, so I just carried it like this. I had titanium handles that come out just like this one does, but the flames were always coming up and hitting on them, and they would get really hot, and then I'd forget and grab them and get a second-degree burn on my fingers, so I took those right off and just used a pot grabber. In my travels, I also bought one of these once. This is, probably the company that made this was too embarrassed to put their name on it. But this is one of the stainless steel pots. And, well, it weighs a ton, doesn't transfer heat well, handle gets really hot, it'll burn you. Basically, not the way to go. Also in my travels, after people started talking about the Kmart grease pot, I bought one of these. And I've cooked quite a few meals in one of these. I've done a lot of baking in them too. You can see this one's vented to bake with. The biggest problem with these is that the rim on them rolls in instead of out. So you've got an inner rim here, and food tends to get up underneath it. It's hard to clean, and it's not the most sanitary pot. But if you're just starting out, this is the way to go. Until you figure out whether you want to really backpack or not. A little Walmart grease pot, which you can now usually buy at Kmart, I believe, and there's a couple of links on the web. You can just buy it by itself from some pot company. I'm not sure who they are. Okay. Lately, I just, not too long ago, maybe a week ago, I bought this. This is a Snow Peak 700, not to be confused with the 600. A little bit bigger. I think this is like 24 ounce. Just about right for cooking spaghetti. And oddly, it's got this really high-tech lid on it, I think, which is, they don't even call it a pot, they call it a cooking system. It has the burn your fingers titanium handles, which will probably come off and get thrown away. And it's got 2 little lips here that catch so the lid doesn't tend to fall off. And then, for some reason, I must think you want to hang it on the side of the pot so you don't lose it. There's a deal there too. It's got a nice little vent in the lid. It's a pretty nice little pot. I'll probably use it some when I backpack, but I don't know, just didn't leave me warm and fuzzy. Now, as time went by, I discovered the Heineken 24-ounce keg, which I turned into a pot. A lot of people have used them. Actually, Jason Class came up with the idea of winding this part of it with the fiberglass wick, so it's a heat-proof surface, so you don't need a pot grabber. And that works really well. Jason really that was a good idea. I originally thought maybe these pots weren't rugged enough, and I was always afraid I'd punch a hole in them. But I got to tell you, I've used this pot right here probably to cook 100 meals. I've cooked them right in my shop on a daily basis, and I've cooked them out backpacking, and I've never had any problem with it at all. In fact, it's unbelievably durable. And it also has a non-stick liner inside of it that originally kept the beer away from the aluminum that cleans up fairly easily, and as long as you don't overheat it by boiling stuff dry or just overheating it with too big a stove, yeah, it works great. And then, of course, you had to ask, Heineken 12 ounce. The only good thing I can really say about this is it fits right inside of the 24 pretty easy. It's okay for drinks and stuff, but it's too small to really cook anything in unless you were like 4 feet tall or something. Maybe you could get a meal that way, but a normal sized person is just not big enough. But these are really lightweight, really durable pots, and they come with a nice lid that seals up, got a vent in it. It's a nice little setup. Works really good with alcohol because if you use a center burner like the Isofly or Black Fly or the Atomic, this is thin enough so it really transfers the heat fairly fast, and it works pretty darn good. I'm fairly impressed with it. Also, there's your regular titanium pans. They don't come with a lid, and they're kind of round on the bottom. They don't pack that great. They're okay for eating stuff out of, but I've never had any luck trying to cook anything with them. Just really not the right design. And that leads us to frying pans. Now, I don't do that much frying out on the trail. Depends. If it's just an overnight, I might take eggs and stuff and cook them the next day. But I'm not a big fry guy. But there's something you should know about these pans. First off, this one's stainless steel. Don't even bother. Weighs a ton. Doesn't transfer heat well. Real piece of trash. This one's titanium, and this one is too. I'll do this one first. Now this is one of these titanium things where the handle folds right down, and that's really good. Although it usually folds up and catches on something. They swing up around and spring over and then snap closed. Now as long as you hang on to it, there's no way that it can unfold. But as you're cooking with it, the handle tends to heat up and you tend to keep choking further and further back on it. Well, when you get back far enough so you're not putting any side pressure on it, it'll just dump your dinner right on top of your stove. Believe me, that's happened to me a few times. I don't even want to go there. This one's a little shallower pan, a little bit lighter weight. Now, it's made by Snow Peak. Yeah, I think it's actually the cover for this pot. Anyway, it's got a handle that folds out. And like all of them, the flame gets near it, it'll get hot. You can choke out on it and it won't fold on you. So I guess if I was going to use a frying pan, this would probably be the lesser of the evils. Also, with a Heineken pot, you can carry quite a bit of stuff right inside of any pot. This one is especially well laid out for alcohol, windscreen, a few paper towels. Yeah. Oh, I got legs to an Isofly stove here and a lighter. There's quite a bit of room inside of them. I mean, this is 8 ounces of fuel. This will last you, depending on how you cook. You know, that's like a week's worth of fuel. You know, that's a good way to go. And I really like a tight lid on them too. It's a pretty good setup. I think probably all the way around as far as lightness and doability, I think the Heineken pot's my favorite. Cook a lot of spaghetti dinners in a Heineken pot. It lends itself well to spaghetti. For a solo hiker, I don't think you can beat it. And I wouldn't be scared of the durability. They're really tough. This is a new stove that I made a special set of legs just for this Snow Peak 700. This is the Maxi Fly, which the store will probably never see this stove because it's kind of tough to build, and I don't really have the dies to mass produce it, and I'm not absolutely sure that I want to build the dies. Although, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not a real seasoned hiker, but I've had a good time, and I've had a fair amount of experience cooking on the trail. And this is basically one of everything that I've used. Like I said, this would be my favorite frying pan, and I think the Heineken pot would probably be my favorite pot. You also can buy some folding plastic bowls if you don't want to eat out of the pot, and dump everything over into that. And they don't take up much room, they don't weigh much, and they're easy to clean. I might do those next. I'm Kenny from Mini Bull Design. Have a great day.